Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello there, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of We're Going Chasing. Cillian, you were in Navan at the weekend, as was myself.
I was, yeah.
You had a good day of it yesterday?
Was there yesterday, yeah, for
Saturday.
For Saturday, sorry, for Bob Olinger Redemption Day. We're going to call it. It's going to be coined as going forward. Saturday, the NRF. Yeah, savage. You can.
The Bob Olinger Redemption Lismullen Hurdle is the official name going forward.
Yeah, something like that. But savage, like you couldn't write it. It's the best moment of the national hunt season so far.
Yeah,
Bob coming back, because when he went to neck down or half length down, you said this he's fucked here. He's not going to get past, and that battle, the battle is there. Yeah. The bottle is there. Yeah, and Bob is fucking back.
Yeah, but like it's like it's the same like with any sort of comeback story, and I know it's only grade 2 and whatnot, but just when these horses, when they hit a setback, when things don't go right for them, and then when they come back, that's it's probably one of the best things about national hunt racing, you know. Like that's what I love, anyway, you know, and you nearly appreciate it more. You do appreciate it more after a setback. Yeah,
100%. Like it's up there with Sprinter Sacra's comeback.
Yeah, I don't know now.
Okay,
hold the reins there now. Hold the reins.
Maybe it's not that much, but it's
hold the reins.
It's getting there, isn't it?
Well, it's I suppose it's on the same road, but certainly not as far down it. But look, hopefully it can get down as far as that did for Sprinter Sacra. But looking at the performance rankings, we've a lot of green, a bit of amber, and a bit of red. But first in the green is Robcour. They had a savage weekend. Obviously, Bob, that we've just alluded to. Now we can talk about him again. And they also had a double on Sunday. And that brings them up to 10 winners from their last 19 runners, I believe. There was a man on Twitter. Who was that, Cillian?
John Hennessy.
John Hennessy.
Yes.
John Hennessy. Yes. He flagged it on Twitter, which is a fair shout. But 10 winners from their last 19 runners. That's phenomenal shooting, Cillian.
Yeah, savage shooting, and like some really nice novices and young horses winning in them 10 as well. So that's great. Yeah.
So fair play to them. They've had a great start to the season. And Big Bad Bob probably got the biggest cheer of the weekend because I was there all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Some people will know I work there, some won't, but everybody knows it now.
I suppose you're after saying it, I suppose, with the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, but I was there for all the races, but he got the biggest cheer of the weekend.
And rightly so.
Yeah, and it was savage. And I suppose the whole Navan Racing Festival itself could be in the green. And again, I might be slightly biased, but I know the feedback from anybody I was speaking to was brilliant. Having the Fortria Chase Day and the Troytown Chase on the one weekend. It was the first time this year that they're on the one weekend. It just seemed to go down a treat with people. A lot of good feedback. So I'll be interested to know if anybody watching this was at Navan at the weekend. What was your experience of it? And any negative feedback, those comments will be hidden.
Yeah, I've an unbiased opinion of it, I suppose. I thought it was very good. The racing was very good. Like the racing yesterday in Navan was better than the racing in Cheltenham yesterday. So that's good. And it's good to see Saturday racing in Ireland getting a bit more exposure too. I know it's a sort of a UK thing Saturday, and we're sort of a Sunday racing, but no harm to see these festivals coming through. You'll see it with with Ferry or Punchestown next weekend, and then Ferry House as well. The week after. So it's good to see these festivals in a run instead of just running 2 separate days. You can bring in a bigger crowd, and it was very good yesterday. The big crowd, I don't know what it was like today, but
bigger
Sunday, but it was a
bigger end.
Big crowd Saturday. It was like the queues at the bar were a bit of a disaster, but that was about it. That's the only.
So if anybody else has any feedback, I'd be interested. Cillian probably doesn't care.
No,
I'd be interested to see it in the comments. American Mike is another horse in the green. The last time he won a race was his maiden hurdle. Had 3 or 4 runs last year. Probably didn't achieve what they would have liked him to achieve. Certainly not over hurdles. But for the first time in a while, he finished out his race very strongly, beating Fact to File. And I thought he was quite impressive, and a step up in trip, I'd say, would see him in an even better light, possibly.
I wouldn't be too sure on that. I thought he jumped really well.
Yeah.
Which, like, he didn't look a sharp hurdler at all, jumping wise.
No.
So yeah, he jumped really well from the front today. Today. So yesterday, Sunday. But yeah, I was very impressed with him now, and like, I suppose Fact to File, just a bit, like, obviously he's never ran over hurdles, so maybe that's a lack in experience over obstacles in the racetrack that's caught him. But yeah, you'd be very happy if you were Gordon now, knowing more with American Mike, and it's probably a bit tight to go to the Drinmore, and they have found a 50 anyway. So I don't know, maybe he'd step up to 3 miles at Christmas, but I'd say he could definitely stick it to 2.5 miles at the moment.
Yeah. No, he was quite comfortable at that trip, all right. But I would think long term it'll definitely be something that they'll explore, I'd imagine. You also have the JP handicap hurdlers in the Green, Killian.
Yeah, he's he had a right weekend of it, really, didn't he? He won the Great Wood on Sunday, with him, Nicky and Nico de Boinville, Iberico Lord. He looked very good. Like, he won by about 2.5 lengths, and it looked snug enough, to be honest. So yeah, he was very impressive. And then Harvey's Key won in Navan on Saturday, and as well on Friday, another really well handicapped horse. I don't know, was Harvey's Key really well handicapped? I think it was just the day was the day, but and he got a really good ride from Mark Walsh. But on Friday in Cheltenham as well, they had Imposed Trois won the last race on the Friday, by about 2.5 lengths as well, and he looks like a horse that's definitely got a lot in hand as well. I think he won off America of 120 or 121. So yeah, he looks like one that would have a few pounds in hand again, I'd say. So yeah, JP's had a good weekend with handicap hurdlers, and then obviously winning the Schlur with John Bon as well.
Yeah. And that brings us on to John Bon actually too. John Bon is in the Green, and again, he put them to the sword. I was going to say a poor field. It was not a poor field, really. Like, in terms of Grade 1, it was a good field. They're the sort of horses that you'd be facing in any Grade 1, really, in the 2 mile chasing division, and he's totally put him to the sword. I don't know what price he is now for Cheltenham and that, but see if in March. But one would imagine that he's quite short.
Yeah, if you look at the betting, it's a 2-horse race. I think, well, the bookies think it's a 2-horse race. That it's El Fabiolo around even money. I think, 1 second. I think it's him around even money, and John Bon then is next in the betting at about, or El Fabiolo 7-4 best price, John Bon 7-1, and then 25s bar that.
Okay.
So obviously a few pricing up in Ergamin still, but we're not going to see him. El Fabiolo even money, John Bon best price 3-1, Captain Guinness 20s.
Yeah. And Captain Guinness is in the Green, Killian.
Yeah, but just going back to John Bon first, I thought it was definitely a career best from him. He was savage, and he jumped really well, and like, Edward Stone looked to travel into the race well, and John Bon just kicked him aside, then around the bend he'd gone 6-7 lengths clear, and he just wasn't stopping. Like, I'm of the opinion John Bon could definitely go up and trip, but there's no need for that. You can just win. He go in the Tingle Creek probably in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, and then the Desert Orchid has gone to a handicap now, so there's I don't know what the prep run would be now for that Champion Chase. Is there what's the Game Spirit, is it?
Yes, Grade 2
miles. Yeah, maybe that's the prep run then, so you can pick up another Grade 1 and a Grade 2. I think he's closing up on £500,000 in prize money as well, so he's some horse, and he's only ever lost twice, like.
Yeah. Constitutional.
So
yeah, no shame in that.
No.
And Captain Guinness then, as I touched on, He was very impressive. Dynamo sort of blew out a bit. I thought before the race, I thought the Captain Guinness would struggle, given that weight to Dynamo if Dysart was on a going day. And to be honest, I wouldn't even. I think that's Dysart Dynamo. I think that's what he is. I don't think it was necessarily he wasn't a going day. I think that's his running. And Captain Guinness, floored him. And also Riviere de Tel, who was quite close to him last year and had only bet a length or two.
Yeah.
Again, Riviere de Tel bet up a stick, who had a run as well under her belt. So fair juice to Henry. He got a lovely double there of grade twos within a half hour of each other between Bob and Captain Guinness, following up shortly after that.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely Captain Guinness's career best, I'd say. Beating a 152 horse by 11.5 lengths, giving him £9. So
yeah,
and thumped Riviere de Tel as well, giving her 13, is it? Same as last year. Yeah, so he's I think he goes to Tingle Creek now. So like he wasn't fully going for this either, you'd imagine. So there'll be a bit left under the tank. Hopefully he can prove again the Tingle Creek. He's ran well at Sandown before.
Yeah.
He's been placed in a couple of grade ones there in a couple of attempts. He was third in the Tingle Creek a couple of years ago, and he was second in last April to John Bon. So I'd assume he's playing for second again, but he's well capable of getting it. And if there's any horse in training that deserves a grade one, it's Captain Guinness. He's been so close. He's hit the crossbar so many times. He deserves to win a big one, really.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And what a treat that would be if we got John Bon against Captain Guinness at Sandown.
Yeah, I would say we'll get it. Yeah, it's they're both going to run it, I'd say. And
is John Bon confirmed, or I know that's the plan for Captain Guinness, or my understanding of it?
Yeah, Captain Guinness is going to run anyway, I think, but John Bon is certain to run as well.
Great. That'll be a proper grade one now.
Yeah,
2 mile chase.
You probably have Edward Stone again.
That's grand. Yeah. Leave a few
run around.
Yeah, leave a few of them hunt around him behind.
Yeah.
But he won. You had him up. You said him on the podcast here last week, and you had him up on Twitter, and he won quite snugly as well. Now I know there was another horse coming back at him there towards the finish, but the two of them have pulled well clear third.
£26. He gave the horse in second.
Yeah,
that's fair performance.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How
far clear third were they?
About 14 or 15 lengths.
Yeah.
A fair performance. Now I said the step up to 3 miles going to suit. I'd sort of had a suspicion you could see him line up in a Stayers Hurdle, maybe. If he was to have won this, and
he wouldn't.
I don't know would he be good enough, but he's definitely an improving horse. He's definitely an improving horse, though. Which people said about Florian Porter when he went through the handicaps. He won 2 Stayers Hurdles, but he runs a very similar profile. Well, not that similar, that he's taken a bit longer to step up to 3 miles, but he's an improving young horse like Florian Porter was. I think he's a smashing animal, and
it's a relatively weak division, to be fair.
Yeah, well, he's well capable of lining up. I think that the goal is to go to Hatton's Grace next. I don't know, a step back and trip against the likes of Impera Pass and Chupu probably won't suit him, but we'll see how he runs in that. I think they're working back from the Stayers in March then. He's well entitled to it, like give a chunk of weight away to a decent horse in the newest one, and like probably when he got to the front he probably wasn't doing an awful lot, so you can probably mark it up a small bit too. So and the money came from as well, crucially. He was 5-6 to 1 in the morning. Went off 9-4 in a what looked a very competitive handicap. So there was obviously a lot of confidence behind him, and he's savage horse. Yeah. No, fair juice to him. Very good week for the Gilligans as well.
Great week for the Gilligans.
Paul and Jack over in Cheltenham Saturday, and then Danny in the Troytown.
I think that was Danny's first ever ride in Troytown too.
We should only start riding over fences in March.
So first ever ride in the Troytown.
First ride in the Galway Plate. First ride in the Troytown.
Unreal.
2 of them won. I don't think it'll be the last time we'll see him winning a big handicap.
No,
this season while he's claiming.
Absolutely great value. for his claim. Killian, we sat here a couple of weeks ago and we spoke about Brave Man's Game, and we spoke about his issue with the final fence against Gentleman's Game and how much momentum he lost and whether he would have won the race and whatnot. And that leads me on to Stage Star, because with the way that he fluffed the last, he had every right to be weak towards the finish and to be passed. But he did the opposite. He took off, went on again, and is still going powerfully at the line, because that was a complete mess up of the last, really. He was lucky probably to stay up in one sense. And I thought it was very taken. Of quite a mark too, that he won so impressively, taking that into consideration at the final fence.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It was an exceptional performance. He came to a complete stop, basically.
Yeah.
I know he was probably 4 lengths clear jumping it and won by 4, but so he's then effectively, you're saying he's lost no ground despite making a shuddering error.
Yeah, he had to get going again, really.
He's a horse I probably didn't give a lot of credit to last year when he won the Turners. And I think after winning, this was a far better performance off that weight in a handicap like that, in one of the best Paddy Power Gold Cups in years, I'd say. Off a mark of 155. And like the horse that was second to him in the Turners has gone and done it well again off 152, beaten 4 lengths. So like the two of them showed like that was no fluke in the Turners. So he was really impressive, and I think he's about his best price 5-1. That's 888 Sport, 4-1 effectively for the Ryanair. And it might seem odd, but I'd sooner back him for the Ryanair at 4-1 than Allaho at 3-1.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't be, as I said last week, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Allaho again. Like the comparisons with Duvan for that sort of length of break and running that type of ground, like it could take a lot out of Allaho.
I'd be very surprised if we don't see.
Yeah, but look, Stage Star.
And I'd be very surprised if we don't see him this year.
Stage Star is improving horse stuff.
But Stage Star 4-1.
Yeah.
That performance obviously loves Cheltenham too.
Yeah.
Young improving horse. Allaho possibly going backwards now a bit.
Yeah, and going left-handed is the key to Stage Star as well. He has to go that way. His performance is going the other way around is pretty poor. But he's
a real genuine Grade 1 contender anyhow for the English, because they aren't inundated with him.
No, they've very few. They've very few really good top horses, and he's won them now. The real whacker took a bit of a dunt. We might speak about him in the red, but
we might carrying savage weight now.
But the Stage Star is a genuine Grade 1 horse now, proper.
Yeah, and another Grade 1 horse and a savage beginner's chase is what we had at Navan on Saturday. Facile Vega versus In the Pocket. And Facile Vega looks even better over fences, Killian.
Yeah, he does. I think he made a mistake the first one. That was it. That was the only one I could really see that was glaring. Just when it came to 2 out, it just looked like he was always going to win. Now,
as a big Marine Nationale supporter now, you were always, prior to this, you were Marine Nationale would take Facile Vega over fences. Yeah, any bit more worried now after seeing that?
I'm worried experience might be a difference in March. That like Marine Nationale, Facile Vega is going to run a Grade 1 at Christmas against In the Pocket again, probably. And then you're going to have Marine Nationale running a beginners against probably substandard horses, because all the good ones have ran already. So he's going to probably get a non-event at Christmas. Is Barry Connell going to run him at the DRF in a Grade 1? Probably not.
Well, he has to. I think he has to.
I don't think he will, though.
I think he will. I think if he runs him in a beginner's chase at Christmas and doesn't run him at DRF, he's essentially doing what Pat Kelly did with Presenting Percy that year after his novice chasing campaign, where he put off running because of the ground, and then everything it was a mess after that.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I agree 100%. I think he has to run him at the DRF or somewhere. He has to run him a second time.
But
if you don't run him
if you don't run him at the DRF, where do you run him? If you want to run the grade 1,
there's no grade 1, but there's
no.
there's other graded races. There's grade 2s and there's grade 3s there. Like there's the 2 mile race at Navan. Is that in February? The 10 up.
The 10 up is over a much longer trip.
No, the flying bolt.
The flying bolt.
I don't know when that is. Is that February? I don't know. I can't remember. Could be March.
No, it's not March. It's February.
I think it is February. So he's I think experience might be the thing that'll catch Marine National out, but I've no doubt Marine National is better than Facile Vega. Facile Vega got his ground yesterday too. And now I thought it at the time during the race, I didn't look in the pocket, was he really pushed?
He was.
I don't think he was. How many times was he?
Well, I think he's bet. Like he's completely bet.
Yeah. Well, how many times did he get the whip?
I don't know, but like
I have the answer. 0.
Some people are saying I don't care. Some people are going on saying, Rachel Gemery's after IJP, one to watch, etc., etc. You've got to take into consideration what Rachel has done in the 2 races previous to that, and Bob Olinger and Captain Guinness been very patient. Only gone from really after the last. Has eased the horses into it. She's done the exact same thing there. Eased the horse into the race and just Factify or in the pocket doesn't have the stuff really. Regardless,
I think he's a 2.5 miler anyway. So
yeah, and I think when he stepped up, I do agree. When he stepped up in trip, you'll definitely see him in a better light. I don't think he has that speed.
I don't think so either. But he looked to have got a pretty soft ride, and he wasn't with once. That's the only thing. And I think if it was the case that he wasn't in those colours, maybe you wouldn't be saying it. I certainly thought it watching the race, and I went on to Twitter, and it was a lot of people said the same. So I wasn't seeing things anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll agree to disagree on it. Onto the Amber. Are you happy to move on to the Amber, Killian?
The Broadway boy in the green.
Broadway boy in the green, correct. Very, very impressive. What he's bet, I'm not sure. Good Risk at All is there back in second. But look, he jumped superbly, galloped him into the ground, won by about 16, 17, possibly 20 lengths, as easy as you like. Whether he goes on, what he goes on and does in the year, I don't know. Like, I know you mentioned when we were doing these colours and whatnot before that he's not going to win at Cheltenham, but it's not the be all and end all. That's why I insisted on him being in the green, because that performance deserved to be in the green, and he's well entitled to go now to graded races, grade 1s in the UK, and he'll run very well there.
I agree 100%. He gave Florian Porter £5. I know Florian Porter was just eased up to the line. But 2.5 lengths beaten there, and we've all been caught was only a length and a quarter behind him that day. He's now beaten him by 20 lengths. He's improved with each chase start. His jumping has gotten better from when he beat Mufasa and Worcester to the last day, and again to Cheltenham. I think
he was a bit. The one thing is he was a bit better off with the weights, which we've all been caught too, but not of any significance really. I think it's about 4 or 5 pounds. But
he was giving him 5 that day. He was off levels yesterday. It was listed. So like he was entitled to beat him, but he absolutely thumped him. That's a career best for him. He's only a 5-year-old as well, so that's the one thing you could say. Like, Good Risk at All 7, Mr. Coffey was 8. He was the young up and coming horse in the race, I suppose. With We've All Been Caught, but We've All Been Caught crucially had a claiming jockey effectively on board. So, and he's also just not a good horse. So Broadway boy, he's, I don't know, maybe it could be something like a 4 miler or something. Maybe, I don't know. Or like a Midlands National. I don't know. It depends what kind of increase in the weights he gets for winning that. But he's definitely entitled to running grade races. He might go to the Cotto Star. Kempton, I'm not sure Kempton had suited.
And I've got two more honourable mentions in the green just quickly before we finish up. On the green, Melina Girl today at Cheltenham won by 10 lengths off mark 137. She up now to mid 140s, and that was her. She was running there at 2.5 mile really for a good while, and then was up to 3 mile 4 in the Ulster National last season. Won reasonably well there. Pulled up then in another big handicap. This is her third time at these sort of marathon trips, and now she's won twice. And there's still more improvement in her the way she won. I thought she was very taken, and a real honourable mention to Mouse Mars. He's done it again. He's gone over to the UK. He's plundered the race over there. He's come back, money in the back pocket, job done. Foxy Jacks, savage performance. I don't know, like that was his third time in the cross country course. Hadn't completed the first two. One on Friday, and he could go through it 3 more times and he might complete it again because he's a lunatic. But Mouse is doing a great job with this horse. A great job. He's really come into his own this year. But he always had that bit about him. He just kept a bit to himself, as Mouse famously said. Foxy keeps a bit to himself. But he's not keeping it to himself anymore, and fair play to Mouse. Killian, on to the Amber. Fact to file.
Yeah. Just similar to Corbett's Cross, I suppose. Just probably potentially needs further. And as I said already, he hadn't the benefit of running over hurdles. That sort of an obstacle on the race course might make a bit of difference. But it's good to see him going over fences. He's 6 going 7. So it was a good move for Willie and JP to do it, not to waste him in a year for a novice hurdler when he was probably not going to make up to much of a hurdler, probably a Bartlett horse. So I'd say when he goes up to 3 miles, I'd say you'll see a bit more improvement. But like, he didn't jump that fantastically well, and American Mike did. Even the jump at the last from American Mike sort of sealed the race. So that'll come to him. But I'd say he is a good horse. Like he's some solid bumper form last year. I know the bumper took a bit of a knock with a horse that was really high solid bumper form that's in the race, but I thought it was all right bumper form. But I think he's a good horse, and you'll see him to best effect at 3 miles.
Yeah. We have the Cheltenham November meeting in the Amber as well. Now, Cheltenham is a very, very special place, and we absolutely love going over there. I would have been over there this weekend, been totally straight down the middle with it, only for I'm working at Navan, because I would have had it all booked well in advance. But when you're looking at the cards, Navan this weekend and Cheltenham this weekend, I don't think there's any comparison, particularly there on the Saturday. The Saturday at Navan was a great card, really. And I think the Cheltenham November meeting, there's a lot of poor Midland fields, that failed to get you really excited. But at the end of the day, too, like you couldn't put them in the red because Cheltenham is Cheltenham, and it is savage, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. It's just, the Saturday was what really got me. I was looking through the card at Cheltenham, I was like, there's nothing really fucking here. Like, Paddy Power is a savage depth of a race. But aside from that, I was sort of like, fucking, it's only all right, And then look at Navan, you're getting the Lismullen, you're getting the Fortria, you were getting the Beginner's Chase, that was effectively a grade 1. You were getting what we thought were 2 very good horses in the maiden hurdle, and then it turned out Dancing City probably potentially underperformed in the day, but Stellar Story is a horse we probably could have had in the green as well. We've run out of horses to put in the green, but he'd be a Bartlett contender in my eyes. It's the same maiden hurdle Ginto one. So Gordon, Creature of Habit, going back to these races with good horses. I think the Saturdays were no comparison. Then even today, like the Schlur was obviously looked a very deep renewal, and like John Bond gave an exhibition, in fairness. So like that probably marked Cheltenham up, but the other races in Cheltenham were only all right. The Navans were as good as it, really.
But look, Cheltenham is we won't speak too poorly of Cheltenham, that's for sure.
No, definitely not.
Looking at the red, Killian, first of all, Captain Teague. you have him stuck in there. He was second. People got a bit carried away with this horse.
Yeah, they did. I highlighted it here that like, do not back this horse for a grade 1 at Cheltenham. Do not do it. Don't make the same mistakes that people have made with Brave Man's Game and made with Hermes Allen. He cannot win a grade 1 at Cheltenham, and I was proven right on on Friday. Manila Missile, very good winner. Probably came from the wrong place as well. Considering Captain Teague and the Big Dine were up in the box, and Manila Missile came from out the back. Like, yes, gave Manila Missile £5, gave the Big Dine £2. Like, if you just try and break it down in terms of Irish horses for a second, the Big Dine last winter, beaten in a maiden hurdle by Caldwell Potter, beaten in a maiden hurdle by Nucky Johnson, beaten in a maiden hurdle by Dr. Bravo. February then, beaten in a listed hurdle last, bet 22 lengths, and then ran in a handicap in Fairyhouse at the Easter Festival. It took him, he won a maiden hurdle in July in Tipperary, and he went off 1-4, and it was probably his worst performance, nearly.
Yeah.
Won a listed race in Galway. What Path? We spoke about What Path here before.
Right.
He's absolutely useless. Like, if you compare, you take the Big Dine as a horse from Ireland and you put him beside Captain Teague, they effectively raced off the same weight, and Captain Teague has beat him half a length. There's 20 horses in Ireland, at least, better than the Big Dine. There's probably 30 that are going to be novice hurdling this year.
Yeah.
And
it feels as if somebody's after putting 50p in you there now.
Huh?
It feels as if somebody's after putting 50p in you.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you can't, like, I see them people saying, oh, Captain Teague needs to step up to 3 miles. Come fucking off it. Like, he won't be in the first 10 home in the Bartlett, probably. Like, he's not good. He'd probably be a chaser down the line. I'd say the horse that won a bumper the other day, Captain Bellamy, he might jump a hurdle now, because Johnny might be getting a small bit worried that the lad that was supposed to be his grade 1 horse this year is a fucking bust after 2 runs, beaten by an Evan Williams outsider that no one gave a chance to, that was having its second run, you know.
Right.
So
right. Okay. Point taken. Also in the red is John McConnell, because John, usually this time of year, these meetings in the UK, he goes very well there. He targets them. He sends a nice few horses over. But just things aren't falling his way, unfortunately, at the moment. I think he's not from 100, unfortunately, now, which is a sorry sight for him. Actually, interestingly, I had Inatendu, is the name of the horse. He was 33-1 the handicap hurdle on Friday. I had him up as one of the selections on Twitter, and he was an on-runner. And then he went and he was bet a neck today, which is Sunday, in a maiden hurdle, and back from 10-1 into 11-4 just before the off. So it's a pity he didn't run that handicap hurdle, because he could have went well. And I'm not entirely sure about the form of that maiden. It's actually hard enough to read it there.
I think the horse that won it, they seem to like him.
Do they?
Yeah, seemingly. Yeah. Talking about the Supreme down the line, but it's
well, if there's
just bursting. These Paul Robson, I never heard of him. He's completely burst, to be honest. And he's just said, "Oh, we might have a Supreme horse in our hands." In the last 14 J's, John McConnell has ran 40 horses, and they've all lost. He hasn't had a flat winner in 82 days, 150 runs. Hasn't had a jumps winner in 39 days, 35 runs.
Yeah,
so,
but
it's not
to be
good.
fair, he's usually this time of year he goes well. It's just, I say there could be there's something up there in the yard, and
a lot of them are being
to the bottom of it.
Hammered as well.
Yeah, he'll get to the bottom of it, I'm sure.
I think the real one that stood out for me was Intense Approach in Wexford in the maiden hurl on Friday. I was like, this yoke is an absolute certainty, and just you were bet after a mile, like. Really, and he fell at the last. He was hammered. He was going to come about 6th or 7th, like. He completely just stopped. But yeah, a lot of them aren't running well at all, which is not a good sign. But hopefully he gets to the bottom of it.
Yeah, and finally we had Dysart Dynamo on the red, but we sort of touched on him quite a bit already, really.
Yeah, he's just he behaved himself.
He did
better the last day, which it'd make you think this lad is a total shitter.
He's got quirks that didn't. As you said, he was fine. There was nothing wrong with him at the weekend.
He didn't pull that hard at all.
But I nearly say at times that's nearly a worry. Like if you've got a buzzy horse or you've got a quirky horse, you nearly want to see him with these quirks or pulling that bit. Like I used the example a couple of weeks ago, Florin Porter over fences. People weren't sure about him. When I saw Florin Porter fucking pulling, over at Cheltenham that day, then you knew Florin Porter's fine. If he was relaxed and and needed to be nudged along and whatnot, then that's when you need to be worried. So maybe Dysart isn't himself, but I'd say that's just, to be honest, that's just what he is. He's not up to the level of Captain Guinness whatsoever. And he's probably Willie's 5th best 2-mile chaser.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, where is he? Look, we won't get into it. He's thereabouts. He's about 3rd or 4th. He's easily 4th or 5th, actually. Anyway.
Yeah.
We won't get into it. Killian, that wraps us up for this week, unless you have any more to add.
No, I don't have anything more to add. And at the end of this video, we have a special surprise as well.
What's the special surprise?
You have to wait till the end of the video to see it.
Right, okay, I'll find out on Monday morning. Right, lads, that's all from us. Enjoy your special surprise, and we will be back towards the end of the week with a preview for next weekend's race. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bob Olinger, who's coming there, sprinting the final flight. Bob Olinger joins issue with Zanny here. In 3rd place is home by the lead, 200 yards to go. Zanny here's battling back on the outside of Bob Olinger. It's Navan top. Bob Olinger's getting up on the inside and is showing some of his old